Greetings and welcome to Minor Hockey Mayhem. I'm your host, Joe Branco, here at Culturama. Today on MHM, we have our player profile of the week. I have an interview with NBC Chicago Blackhawks broadcaster Nick Gismondi. We have our Mayhem Clip of the week, rankings, tournament results, and our minor hockey parent tip of the week. Be sure to like and share this video and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So let's get started with episode 5 of Minor Hockey Mayhem. This week's player profile of the week is 08 Junior Kings goalie, Morgan Stickney.
Hi Morgan, welcome to the show.
Hi Joe, thank you for having me on your show.
So you were a goalie for the 2008 LA Junior Kings, and your team is currently ranked number 1 in the country. What makes your team so special?
Yeah, I'm the goalie for the 2008 Junior Kings. What makes our team so special is that we have lots of skill and we work together a lot. Also, 4 of us have been together since we were like 4, and the rest of us have been together for 2+ years.
So you're one of the only female hockey players that I know that's playing at this age at the AAA Tier 1 level in the United States. Do you feel any additional pressure or expectations as a female playing in this top level of play in the U.S. with players that are 99.9% male?
Yeah, I'm one of the few girls playing boys hockey, Tier 1. I don't really feel any more pressure playing boys hockey because I've been on this team for a long time, and during practice I just play really hard so then I could play good in games.
When did you figure out that playing goalie was a position for you, and what do you love about the position?
I realized goalie was a position for me when I was 6, and my brother always made me play goalie in mini hockey, and then I just started playing goalie on the ice, and it was actually really fun. It's really fun because I just like to stop shots, and in games it's like get you going, and it's like very anxious, but it's also super exciting and fun.
Tell me about your mindset during the game. Do you have any rituals?
My mindset during a game is just to be confident and have fun, because I figure out when I play nervous, I don't play good. And I have rituals before the game. I like to do the same ball routine every time before games, and the same thing during warm-ups.
How did you end up playing for the Junior Kings organization?
I'm with the organization, the Junior Kings, because I live 5 minutes away from the rink, and one day I decided to go to a clinic there. And then when I was there, this coach found me, and he was like, we really need a goalie for our team. So I never played travel hockey. I never even played in-house. It was like my first games ever. And then I just started playing with that team for the rest of my life.
What is your favorite memory of hockey so far?
My favorite hockey memory so far is winning the Brick First Star. I loved the Brick so much. It was like the greatest experience ever, and I can't wait to go to the girls' Brick next year. It was super fun because they made us feel like professional NHLers. Also, on the last day, we got to go to the water park. The water park is so cool.
Who has inspired you the most in your hockey journey so far, and how?
Alex Rigby inspired me because she's who I want to be when I get older. She plays for the U.S. women's national team and won an Olympic gold medal.
When you're not on the ice, what do you do for fun?
When I'm not on the ice, I love playing NHL 20. I also love playing floorball. And I also love the sport soccer.
What are your career goals in hockey?
My career goals in hockey are to make it D1, hopefully Ohio State, and maybe even win an Olympic gold medal.
Did you have anything else you wanted to say or give a shout out to anybody?
I would love to give a shout out to my teammates for being awesome teammates, and I can't wait to go to Detroit with you guys. Also, to our future opponents, watch out, we're coming.
Thank you so much for joining the show, Morgan. I appreciate it.
If you would like to nominate a youth hockey player to be profiled or interviewed here on Minor Hockey Mayhem, just send your nomination to culturama@yahoo.com. This week, I am very excited to be joined by NBC Chicago Blackhawks reporter Nick Gismondi.
Joe, it's cool to be here. I mean, anytime I can talk about hockey, and especially hockey in Chicago and hockey in general, I'm all in.
You grew up playing hockey in Detroit. I think you had a career-ending type injury, and now you're the ringside reporter for Chicago Blackhawks on NBC Chicago. And how did you end up from a youth hockey player in Detroit to being such a big part of the NHL in Las Vegas with the Golden Knights and now with the Blackhawks?
Yeah, I think it's funny. Hockey, I've always said hockey is this game that just it's a brotherhood, it's a family, and it just keeps going. I did grow up in Detroit. I played for a long time and had aspirations just like every other kid that plays the game, whether they're in Michigan or California or Minnesota or Chicago, about making it to the NHL. I think it's important to have goals, but I think it's also smart to have attainable goals. So I think for me, I had my path was going to be make it all the way up through midget majors, and then have the opportunity to go play hopefully a junior team somewhere, and then, college and maybe the NHL. But I mean, you start to figure it out pretty quickly when you're in your teens, whether or not you're actually going to be good enough to get drafted and make it into the NHL. And I think for me, I had a tough injury when I was 15 years old, and that's obviously a pivotal time. And so unfortunately that hurt me, and the timing just wasn't good. So I always wanted to still be involved in the sport of hockey in some way. And I made my high school radio station as a 15-year-old, and I talked them into letting me do the CompuWare games. And I talked the CompuWare ambassadors, the head coach was Mike Vellucci. And I talked him into letting me do the games on the radio. And he truthfully gave me an opportunity like nobody had ever given me before. And we've remained unbelievably close. Even now, he just got named as the assistant coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins. So, just awesome. Another example of how small the hockey world is, and the brotherhood and fortitude that it has. But so I just kind of got into radio as a 15-year-old, and I turned it into what is now a 25-year broadcasting career, the last 3 of which have been in the NHL, and pretty much all that 25 has been on television, except for like the first 4 years.
So, I mean, a lot of people think your job is awesome. I think it seems awesome as well. So what do you love most about it? I mean, you've done it for 25 years now, or some form of it.
For me, it's being involved with the game of hockey and still getting to inspire, and talk about the game and teach the game. Being in Vegas, when I was the announcer in Vegas for a couple of years, it was fun for me because it was a fan base that was relatively uneducated on the game of hockey. There were obviously some, that knew it well, but for me, it was really cool to be able to kind of step in and help that city fall in love with not only the Vegas Golden Knights, but fall in love with the sport of hockey.
Oh yeah.
And then from there to be able to have the opportunity to be a broadcaster in a major market, and in a city that's an Original Six, and in a sports franchise like the Chicago Blackhawks, that is easily one of the greatest sports franchises in all of sports in all of the world. Incredible. And then, to get to work alongside people like Pat Foley, who's our play-by-play guy, and Eddie Olczyk, who's a dear, dear friend of mine for 13 years, and to be on the broadcast with 2 absolute legends. I mean, Foles is a Foster Hewitt Hall of Famer, and Eddie's probably the most respected voice in hockey. It's iconic. And then, you're in a locker room getting to talk to guys like Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves and Duncan Keith and Brent Seabrook, and up-and-comers like Kirby Dach and, Strome and DeBrincat and Boquist. And it's pinch me moments that even after 25 years as a broadcaster, I still look at it like, oh my God, this is a monumental moment for me. And it's a lot of fun. And getting to Chicago, I mean, that's the friendship. Things didn't work out in Vegas. They decided they were going a whole different direction with their broadcast. And right away, like I said, Eddie Olczyk, a friend of 13 years, he called me right away and he said, let's figure out how we can get you to Chicago. And, if I'm giving out primary assists, Edzo is number 1 on the beautiful apple to get me to Chicago. And that just goes back to the friendship and the bond of the game of hockey.
Most young players that play hockey want to play in the NHL. Maybe there's other things to do there. So I'll kind of leave that up to you, but what else is out there where they find it?
Yeah, I think it's find your passion. If you're in love with the game of hockey, you're always going to find a way to be involved in the game of hockey. And I think there's a lot of different ways to do that. I mean, there's the broadcasting avenue, there's the coaching avenue, equipment guys, trainers, video guys, scouts, front office, marketing. I mean, there's 1,000 ways that you can be involved in the game of hockey and still be involved with it. And not even necessarily at the NHL level. You can coach youth hockey. You can, you can dedicate your time in that regard to it. You can get involved in a bunch of different ways, but I think the best advice is, and maybe it's not even hockey, the best life advice is just find whatever it is that your passion is and go after it with everything you've got and give it everything you've got and exhaust every single effort you can until there's just no more possible way. And then try it one more time and see if something clicks. I've been a broadcaster for 25 years, but it hasn't been rosy. I think a lot of people look at me and are like, oh, you're young. And, oh, wow, it's been a hard road for 25 years. 25 years ago, the goal was to make it in the NHL. I've only been in the NHL for 3 years. I've only been a broadcaster in the NHL for 3 years. It took 22 years to achieve the goal that I wanted to when I set out for it 15 years ago or 25 years ago. And so, for me, it's a lot of fortitude. It's a lot of reminding myself that you're never out of the fight. It's a lot of, hearing the word no and turning that into a maybe and then turning that into a yes. And if you can stick with something and if you can be passionate about it and if you can not get discouraged, then you'll succeed. I think that most successful people that you'll find in life, no matter what it is you're doing, whether you're running a company or announcing hockey games or playing hockey, they find a way to keep going when other people would quit.
Yeah.
And I think that's what separates people from, being successful and being a footnote in history. And if you're at home watching this, if you're a player, if you're a scout, if you're a coach, don't be afraid to fail. Failing is good. You need to fail. You need to fall down. You need to understand what that feels like. Nobody in life that's successful is just successful. These people have failed and failed and failed and failed and screwed up and messed up and lost a job or been told they're not good enough only to prove it to somebody else. So learn from the failures. If you get knocked down, get back up. That's all that anybody really cares about. And I think my best advice for you as a hockey player, anything in life, is to get knocked down, be okay with it, and get right back up. Don't linger.
Yeah, I think that's the best advice I've probably ever heard. So, well, thanks a lot, Nick. I really appreciate it. Take care. We'll have you back on pretty soon. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having me. Good luck out there to everybody. Stay safe, stay happy, take care of your family.
Let's check out our Mayhem Clip of the Week. All right, let's check out this week's top 10 rankings for each birth year. Let's check out some upcoming tournaments. So we've got the Top Cheddar Tournament in Green Bay, Wisconsin this weekend, November 6th through 8th. There's also a pretty big AAA tournament coming up in Phoenix, November 13th through 15th. And we have the 200 by 85 CCM World Invite Finale coming to Dallas and Detroit to help us kick off 2021. It's time for our hockey parent tip of the day. Hockey is fun. As parents, we try our best to help generate opportunities for our young hockey players to improve and progress towards their hockey goals. Many times, parents will push very hard on their kids to play higher levels than they may even be ready for, or add so much pressure that they lose sight of where that passion actually comes from. Fun, friends, competition. Every kid has a bad day, and they're going to complain about that from time to time, about having to go to hockey occasionally. This is not necessarily a bad thing, but pressure can be heavy on a kid's mind, and we all need a break from time to time in any endeavor. But if you see the smiles and excitement far less often as time goes on, it's important to check with your son or daughter and understand if they are still having fun. And if they aren't, well, it might be time to make a change, possibly a big change. Maybe AAA is not the right place right now. Perhaps traveling every weekend across the country isn't allowing them the social opportunities they might need. So be sure and check that they're having fun. If If they're not having fun, it's up to you to change that. So just remember that hockey, outside of all the hype, the game scores, the pressure, the competition, and whatever the opportunities we hope for them as they progress, always remember that hockey is rooted in fun. Thank you for watching episode 5 of Minor Hockey Mayhem. Be sure and give us a like and leave a comment below. Share with all of your hockey fans looking for their minor hockey fix. If you were interested in becoming a sponsor, go ahead and send us an email. Good luck to all the teams in your games this week, and we'll see you on the ice.